Good morning everyone, I am Gundin Bindra from Dehradun. I am basically a special educator and a psychologist dealing with children with low intellectual level and as well as a freelancer industrial trainer. So my topic for the day is unmatched and unmatchable. We've been coming across positivity, spirituality, meditation from a long period of time. But actually it is from long Vedas, many years, that this Vedas has been studying about meditation and spirituality. So me as a person didn't go into research but got an opportunity to be with the living legend, an idol, Yogi Ashwini in Delhi and his study. So I have come here, and when I got the chance to come here, I thought to compare the study and to tell the people around what he has done in his career of being the chairperson of a foundation in Delhi. I begin by quoting Swami Vivekananda, who in a lecture at Lahore 115 years ago said, "Today we find wonderful discoveries of modern science scupping upon us like bolts from the blue, opening our eyes to marvelous we never dreamt of. But many of these are only rediscoveries of what we had been found ages ago. It was the only other day that modern science discovered that what it calls heat, magnetism, electricity and so forth are all convertible into one unit force. But this has been done even in Sahita, collection of metric tests in the form of Vedas. So from this test we come to know that the meditation part is coming from the period of Vedas. A study. As a psychologist and an Indian, I am familiar with the link between our science and the Indian spiritual sciences, described in a minute detail in the Vedas, and yet it took practical exposure for the link to be credible. The exposure came in form of live demonstration by the power of yoga and clairvoyance by the yoga students of Yogi Ashwini in front of the Indian Medical Association, Mumbai. The IMA doctors gave pictures of 5 patients to the students of Yogi Ashwini without giving the patient's name, age or any other description and asked the students to identify the patient's problem. Simply by looking at the pictures, the students trained in the science of clairvoyance were able to pinpoint the exact place and nature of affliction with 85% accuracy. Clairvoyance, a time-tested and highly effective healing science, traces its roots to the Vedas. As I said in the beginning, quoting Swami Vivekananda, it involves the reading of frequency of a cell, the color of radiance and identification of the problem area by the color. Among the other facts of this science are, we are all shaped out of a single cell that multiples to give us shape, size and character we are. The frequency at which the cells move creates a vibration, which in turn creates a sound that leads to spectrum, color and clairvoyance. Can see this color not just with the naked eye, but even with shut eyes and also form of picture. Imagine being able to see the affliction of a patient from a picture when even the most sophisticated gadgets only give an approximate assessment. As a student of science, it is fascinating for me to be exposed to a practical demonstration of the science. Okay, the conclusion of this, the IMA doctors who had begun on a note of informed skepticism were enraged at the end of the demonstration and could not stop cheering. Another aspect of the demo they found unique was the fact that the pulse rate of a petitioner dipped by 15 counts after 15 minutes of non-stop synchronous yoga postures or asanas. The second main aspect that I studied was meditation. I would like to ask a question. According to you, what is the main, which body part is the main which has the maximum movement? In a body part, which part has the maximum movement? Yes? No? Yes, eyes. So in this, when they took us into the meditation state, the dhyan state, they said that the eye movements also stopped. We were just sitting at one place thinking what is happening with that. That was again a miracle. Coming to meditation in the Indian thought, there is no such word. Instead, it is called dhyan, a state of nothingness. And that is one of the 8 limbs of sage Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, second chapter in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, namely Yama, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi. Unless a petition masters the first 6 steps, one leading to the other in an automatic progression through rigorous practices, Dhyan is not possible. And such is the stillness induced by Dhyan that in this state even the petitioner's pupils don't move, leading to cessation of thought and activation of the dormant part of the brain. It is the awakening of the dormant areas that leads to such special abilities as clairvoyance, which is called Siddhi in the Indian thought. Western scientists too have been investigating the yogic ability for decades. According to Lyell Watson in the Romeo Error, a French cardiologist who went in India with a portable electrocardiography found several people who could stop their hearts. On this occasion, a stimulus to the vagus nerve carries instructions to the heart, seemed to produce what the yogis call Valsava technique, which involves building up increased pressure in the chest and inhaling deeply and bending sharply forwards. In the end, I would conclude, thus there is nothing in the Indian thought on spirituality, meditation, happiness and human dimension that is incompatible to the modern mind and the modern scientist. In fact, scores of studies prove that modern science is the only rediscovering of ancient Indian wisdom. The key to unrevealing it fully and employment for the good humankind lies in approaching Indian thought with an open mind. To my mind, Indian thought is unmatched and I dare to say unmatchable. Thank you.